Welcome back to another episode of Straight Shoot, a wrestling podcast. It is myself, Conman, and MrTeshk today, and we're talking all about TKO and what these strategic alternatives could be for this group. Teshk, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great, man. And first off, I just want to say you and I worked together a little bit last week, and look at this fantastic new layout. It's fresh. It's new. We've been using the same stuff for a while, and I figured, you know what? With new times come new looks. So I think the new look and the new layout, guys, in the comments, let us know what you think of the new layout. Is it too much? Is it too little? Let us know. Comment.
Sexy, man.
I think it looks
great.
fantastic. I love it.
Yes,
but yes, oh, you had to get one in.
Had to get it in already. When we're talking about these strategic alternatives, man, with TKO, the main one we want to talk about is the rumors that TKO could be moving Monday Night Raw off of Mondays. What's your reaction to that?
Dude, I'm a 90s kid. Like, I grew up with the debut of Monday Night Raw. And just so you know, like, I remember when WrestleMania, one of the WrestleManias was actually like held on a Monday. So there's a
thing.
That was a thing. There was, I think it was WrestleMania 4 or 5 was held on a Monday night. Anyways, so it's one of those ones where you sit there and you're like, my viewing habits for the better part of 30 years have been, okay, well, you have to keep your Mondays open because at 8 o'clock or 7:30, get in front of the couch, get your beer open, sit down. Well, not when I was 11, but you know what I mean.
How early did you start there, bud?
We're not. That's a whole other conversation. No, so it comes down to viewing habits. It comes down to nostalgia. Like, it's kind of like when your team moves cities. You know what I mean? It's Mondays are my nights for wrestling, dude. So granted, with how much wrestling we have these days, but it's Monday Night Raw. It's not WWE Raw. In my mind, it is Monday Night Raw. It's the Monday Night Wars. And if they take it off on Mondays, it feels like that's all gone.
Well, you said it best, that it's our viewing habits, right? We're just used to Monday rolling around and we've got Raw on the TV.
Yeah.
It would feel weird not having Raw on Mondays. Like you said, you've been watching since the beginning. I've been watching since 2005, and every week Raw's on the TV at 8 p.m. Like it's always been that way. So what could it look like if Monday Night Raw is no longer on Monday nights? And what would be the reasons as to why it wouldn't be on Monday nights anymore, Steve?
Yeah, I think when it comes down to TKO, UFC, and WWE, they're looking to grow and expand with the times and change with the times. So first thing is no more competition with the NFL. Monday nights in the US for sure is Monday Night Football or Monday Night Raw. And a lot more people are watching Monday Night Football that are wrestling fans. So if you go to Tuesdays, okay, they're competing now with NXT. So then you got to look at what are they going to do with NXT. But that 1.6, 1.3 viewership that we're getting almost across the board with Monday Night Raw is now a 2.2 or a 2. And
it'll be SmackDown numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, if there's no competition, they'll pull SmackDown numbers.
Absolutely. So with that being said, I think it's a benefit. But again, being the old school guy that I am, it's still one of those ones. It's like, it's middle of the week now instead of at the start of the week. You know what I mean? What about you? Like, where do you see the benefits or the negatives for this?
Well, the benefits are what we talked about. More eyes on the product, right? More people choosing to watch it if it's on a Tuesday or whatever. But I think the negative could be is that you've built up these viewing habits all these years that people who choose to watch Raw on a Monday, maybe they don't have Tuesdays available, or maybe it's not built into their schedule, right? They've been doing this for like 15 years watching Raw on a Monday. They've built their schedule in a way that, okay, well, I'm not doing this activity on Monday night because my favorite show is on. So it could be kind of like a positive in the sense that you get more casual eyes on the product, but a negative that the hardcore fans aren't used to watching it. It would be a tough challenge to overcome. I mean, you're still going to get fans tuning in, right? Like you or me, we're going to still watch Monday Night Raw because one, it's our job, and two, we love the sport.
Exactly.
But some people who maybe aren't used to watching it on a Tuesday might miss it entirely.
I think there's also the idea of we have to look at what they did with the network when they first brought the network in. And it was, okay, every weekend or once a month, we're going to order a pay-per-view. Now we have to purchase this monthly thing, and how long it took for the network to go. Now the network seems like it's always been there in our mindsets. It's just training yourself. So I think if it does move to Monday, it'll be like a 6 to 8 week thing. of people being like, shit, it's actually on Tuesdays, and we need to, train ourselves, just like anything. If the hardcore fans, I think, like yourself, myself, other content creators, we know that we'll be moving with it with a quick jump. I just think it's the casuals that are like, that will sit down and turn Raw on at like 8:30, 9 o'clock just to catch the top of the hour stuff. That's the people that we have to worry about. But then again, we're counteracting with the people that want to watch Monday Night Raw, but they're hardcore NFL fans and they're going to jump over. So it's a catch-22, but it's a positive catch-22.
Yeah, and this is definitely what Ari Emanuel is going to be weighing. He's going to be looking at the pros and cons if it's worth moving it off of a Monday night. The big one we keep coming back to is Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
That is their main competitor every single night, and it makes sense for this new group who might be going private, no longer being a publicly traded company, to test out different nights,
Yeah.
especially if they have the TV networks willing to give them different nights. If USA comes to them, and it might not even be USA if they move off of Monday nights, but if they came to them and said, we'll give you Tuesday, Wednesday, and you can restart the Wednesday night wars with AEW, and Tuesday can be for Tuesday night Raw, and then Mondays is all about football. Like,
Yeah.
that's a hard thing to pass up, especially seeing how well NXT's been doing lately.
Yeah, I understand that, but then if you look at Tuesday nights and you look at the channels, obviously, where does NFL air in the U.S.? Is it on CBC or CBS or whatever?
Fox, maybe?
Potentially Fox in some areas, but then you're looking at sports networks again. So you and I remember growing up as kids, Monday Night Raw was on TSN. Monday Night Raw was on Sportsnet. It's on Sportsnet here in Canada, but you have to stream it. But back in the day,
I'll give you one. It was on the Score.
On the Score, channel 53 or channel 52. That's when Renee Paquette was still as an announcer. Shout out Renee Paquette.
Arda Ocal and Mauro Ranello as well. You remember that?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So you look at that, and then you look at the sports networks, and this is the thing where you bring the UFC in. You've got ESPN. You've got all these hardcore sports networks that are willing to drop massive amounts of money on content like WWE because it's going to be that draw. But you need to focus on the sense that they don't have that option on Tuesdays right now. They don't have anything on Tuesdays that is a big draw. Maybe the NFL or maybe the NBA, but again, that's different networks. I think NBA is actually on TBS in the States. So with that being said, I think ESPN is a big draw. Fox is a big draw. I think WWE did have Fox for a short little span of time back in the 2000s. So there's so many more options with networks when you're pulling away from Mondays.
Yeah, and like you mentioned ESPN, they already have their deal with UFC, which has been a huge moneymaker for TKO, who, if you guys are not aware, TKO owns WWE and owns UFC. It is one group now. And we talked about it off screen, but with the move potentially to ESPN, could we be seeing a pay-per-view model come back?
I had this long discussion about 2 or 3 months ago with one of our old creators and a bunch of people on TikTok, and it was an argument. And it's an argument I will stand by. I don't care if it goes to pay-per-view. Personally, I grew up with pay-per-view. Yes, pay-per-views are $60 to $70. Canadian. But WrestleMania is probably going to be in the $99 to $120 for the 2 nights, right? But at the end of the day, it's just another subscription service that we don't need to have. If you want the network like we have it, so some of us have it on Peacock, some of us have it here in Canada. But if you have the network, you are a hardcore fan that wants the nostalgia and wants to look back. If you are just a general fan, you don't need the network.
Well, yeah, I mean, hell, dude, even if you're just Canadian, we don't have a great access to the network here.
Nope.
I know I don't own the network right now. I have Sportsnet through or what is it called? Sportsnet Now.
Yeah.
And that's how I watch WWE. But like, I don't even own the network anymore. It's not worth the subscription price here in Canada unless you actually have a TV provider with it.
Yeah.
And it's 2023. Who actually has a TV provider anymore? Like, let's be real, right?
Yeah.
So it is certainly an interesting move to potentially move to a pay-per-view buy rate. I want to throw something out here at you, though. Okay. Because the network's not going away. Peacock, the subscription model, that's not going away. It makes far too much money. But I wonder if they would consider doing something like the Big Five being a pay-per-view. If you have your minor shows like your Fast Lanes, your Elimination Chambers, you name them, right? if those are going to be part of the subscription model for $9.99 a month, you get this pay-per-view. And then the big five come around of WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, and Money in the Bank.
Mhm.
Those are going to be the pay-per-views. I don't know
See,
if you like that idea or not.
my biggest concern is they go the DAZN route or DAZN for the people that judge me on how I say DAZN. But if they go that route with what they're doing with the Jake Paul and the Logan Paul fights and the KSI fights, where you have to pay for the subscription and then you have to pay for the pay-per-view in the subscription, then I'll be annoyed, because you're charging me nearly $20 a month, $30 a month for DAZN or DAZN, and then now you're going to charge me $69 for one premium live event? No. That's where I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to find my big five, and then I'll probably find a way to stream the rest of it. But there's no way I'm going to do that type of layout, because I think the DAZN, the DAZN way of doing things is a ripoff. And it's the same with Fight TV. Fight TV gives you Fight TV, but then they charge you for the big fight on the weekend. Like I'm watching as of the recording of this video, this weekend we've got Francis Ngannou fighting Tyson Fury. And they are on a subscription service charging
extra money,
$79 for a boxing match.
Yeah, and I understand the frustration there. I would say the comparison that I'm looking at is that with WWE Network, you do get all of the stuff that they produce, and there's a lot of stuff on the WWE Network, right? The back catalog alone, especially if you like watching, like, say, old episodes of SmackDown or old episodes of Raw, it's worth every penny, in my opinion. It really is good. The autoplay as well is fantastic. But what I will say here is I don't hate the idea of a pay-per-view buy rate for the big events. I'm not a crazy fan of having to spend 40 or 50 bucks on Fastlane, if I'm being honest, right?
Me either.
And I will, because again, it's my job, but I'd rather that for my subscription price. That's their B level or C level pay-per-view. Nothing crazy is going to happen at the show unless Triple H just cooks something up or whatever. But I could totally see a big five model working, because then you have the access to the casuals as well. If they don't have the subscription to the network, maybe they want to watch WrestleMania, right? Maybe they want to check out the Royal Rumble. Like, I know I have a lot of friends who don't watch any WWE except for Mania or Royal Rumble. That's it. They'll check it out once or twice a year. They'll pay whatever it is to watch it, or they'll legally stream it, and boom, there you go. You've got a new viewer for the night, right?
Nobody illegally streams. What are you talking about?
No, not at all. No, I don't know them. They're not my friends.
You are completely right. We do have those casuals that do come in and just order the big one, and we saw that transition period when the network was coming out. But up in Canada, we weren't getting the network for like another year, so we were still paying pay-per-view prices. So we've seen
not me, man, not me. I was in my dorm room. I got that VPN turned on. I got a different account in the United States. We were golden, baby.
Okay, fair enough. You were more technically savvy than I was back then. So we were at that point looking at still paying for pay-per-views when everybody else was paying for the premium live event, or paying for the network. So we might see that transition period again. My biggest thing is, and I want to throw this one at you quickly, is now that WWE is going to do so many more international events. We've had the two announcements this week already. We've had Bash in Berlin announced for August 31st of 2024. Big dub. And we also had Backlash announced in Paris, France for February. Now, that's two more international shows, kind of like what they did with Clash at the Castle and in Puerto Rico, even though Puerto Rico's not really international. But anyways, we're getting now more volume internationally. So with the network being so exclusive almost to North America, maybe the pay-per-view idea isn't that bad. Now, what's your thought?
Yep. Well, like, when you lay it out that way, they're the more international viewers. It's not a bad idea if you're able to get the pay-per-view buy rates from, like, let's say Paris or from Berlin or from Saudi Arabia, with Crown Jewel, right? Like that's the start of all these international events. They really went ham with Saudi Arabia, and now look at where it's grown to. But Yeah, I could see that those events could be a pay-per-view buy rate as well, especially if they're considered extra events,
Yeah.
right? Like the thing that I look at with the network, the way it's set up right now, it's advertising this much per month and you get all the events,
Yeah.
right? And anytime that you offer something for a certain price and then take it away
Mm,
to charge more for it, it's a tough pill to swallow for people.
very much so. Very
Um,
much so.
especially people who I think back to like when I was in grade 12 or grade 11, you don't have all the money in the world, right? You don't have a lot of extra funds.
Yeah.
And so you might not be able to see the pay-per-views you want to watch because your mom might not say yes for a $50, $60 WrestleMania, you know?
Keep those straight A's,
So like
kids.
there's pros and cons to both of it.
Yeah.
I think the biggest pro though is a pay-per-view buy rate reintroduces that must-see feeling.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's something that sometimes lacks with the network. You know, it rolls around to a Saturday or Sunday, and you're like, "Oh, we got this pay-per-view. Yay, go us." As opposed to, "Oh, there is this pay-per-view. Has it earned my $50? Is the
Hmm.
card worth my money?" And
Yeah.
I feel like that forces the booker, Triple H, to book a better show as a result, and for the talent to perform in a much stronger way, if you will.
And I'll add to that, it's also maintaining the quality of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown at that point, because if you are threatening to, and I'll always say threatening because this is basically what they're doing. They're going, we've given you this, now we're going to take it away and you have to pay this. So they're threatening to force us to pay more. So some of the shit that we've been seeing with Monday Night Raw, to like this past Monday Night Raw, it cooked for the first 90 minutes
Yeah.
and then floundered at the end. And it was the same shit. It was rinse and repeat, basically what we've been seeing over the last 6 weeks. It forces them to do something different. So,
Yeah, and we can get into the third hour of Monday Night Raw in the future because that's a whole other topic, and I think that's a great one to talk about. But it brings us all back to what's going on with TKO, like what the goal is here with TKO.
yeah,
If the goal is just to look at every avenue possible, and that's why we're hearing these rumors come out, like, oh, do we go back to pay-per-view? Do we go off of Mondays? All
yeah.
that. Like it's just looking at their options. If I'm a betting man, I don't see Monday Night Raw moving off of Monday. I don't know about you, but I don't see them moving it simply because of the viewing habits that are built in right now.
I'm going to say the complete opposite. I see early 2024 Monday Night Raw is gone off of Monday nights, but I think that's our comment topic. I think that's our comment topic right there. Guys in the comments, let us know. Do you see Monday Night Raw jumping off of Monday nights and going to Tuesdays? Or how crazy is this? Imagine Monday Night Raw on Thursdays.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Wednesday. I thought you were going to say bring the fight right to AEW.
No, I honestly don't care about a Wednesday night war. I think there's no war there. That's a whole other conversation. But imagine being on Thursdays where SmackDown used to be. Like Thursday night Raw and Friday night SmackDown, it just doesn't roll off the tongue right. But I still see it happening. I still see Monday Night Raw leaving Mondays because they're gonna get another 750,000 in viewership because they're not competing with NFL. So guys in the comments, let us know where your minds are at on this, and let us know on some of the points that we've given about the pay-per-views as well, because really, like, it's a huge topic. It's going to be talked about more and more and more, and I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about it.
100%. We want to see those comments in there. And I just want to tack on one last thing right there. It was a cool idea. I remember them mentioning that they wanted to potentially have like a whole weekend of TKO. So gosh, if you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all of a sudden that maybe makes sense as to why they're moving Monday.
Imagine
Monday Night Raw.
WrestleMania week.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Like, and yeah, like, and the weeks that they don't have a pay-per-view on a Saturday, you have UFC every Saturday.
Yeah. That's crazy.
All right. Interesting topic there, man.
Yeah.
We look forward to reading all those comments. We want to see your guys' thoughts on if Monday Night Raw should move, what day it should move to, and if WWE should go back to a pay-per-view buy rate. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you leave a like. Make sure you subscribe to both of our channels, and we'll see you in another episode.